there. This is Bodrum, Turkey, on the Aegean Sea. Greece is right out there. I took a boat from the Greek island of Kos a couple of days ago. It's just a few miles away. It takes about 30 minutes or so to get here. And I'm going to walk over to the old castle you can see there and give you a little taste of Bodrum. It is a ultra touristy small town or small city, but a nice pleasant spot here and a classic beach destination with lots of restaurants you can see all along the walkway here, and then a bazaar up ahead that I'm going to walk through. And so I thought that I would try to answer the question in this video. Good morning. Is Bodrum worth visiting? As always, it will depend on what you're looking for, but hopefully this video will answer that question for you. And so I'm only here for, well, I stayed here 3 nights. Tomorrow I'm flying to Cappadocia, one of my favorite places on earth. And so I just came here basically to catch that flight and take a look around. There's quite a lot to do and see packed into a small city here. And the history here is so intense. It has been occupied by the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, the Ottomans. It was conquered by Alexander the Great. The ancient Greek name for the city was Halicarnassus, and I'm going to go visit the Theatre of Halicarnassus. And so this is a real crossing point of geography and cultures that you could get really deep into learning the history of here and learn a lot about this part of the world. So up ahead is the Bazaar. I mean, I guess this is the start of it. Hello, sir. But it is kind of a more modern bazaar with all kinds of shops selling everything you need and lots that you don't. Those are some awesome sandals there. I got these ones in Athens at the beginning of my trip 3 weeks ago because I was in Greece for 3 weeks. I went to Athens, flew into Athens, and then Crete by ferry, and then to a mystery island that I didn't reveal in my videos because I didn't want to promote it, and then went to Kos and Nisseros, and then took the boat over here and am now beginning a Turkish adventure. Stoked for it. My 3rd time to Turkey. The last time was exactly a year ago when I went to Istanbul for a week. And prior to that, I was here in 2009, a decade ago. And saw quite a bit of Turkey during that trip, including Cappadocia. And so I'm going back to see more and try to capture it better in videos because it is a really phenomenal, fascinating place. And somewhere that when people ask me what is my favorite place in the world, it is definitely one of the places that comes to mind. Not sure how old this building is, but not too ancient, I don't think. Maybe a few hundred years.
Yes, please. Nice kebab.
And so, for a little something to talk about in this video, then I thought that I would give a short language lesson, not in Turkish, but in Greek. The reason being, for one thing, this used to be a Greek city, so it is actually kind of relevant. And besides, I don't know Turkish. I do know some Greek. I can say in Turkish, hello is merhaba, merhaba. And thank you is teşekkür ederim, which really does not roll off the tongue easily. Teşekkür ederim, thank you in Turkish. And that is all the Turkish that I know. Just to be clear, Turkey is not an Arabic country. Turkish is totally different from Arabic, the language, and they're not considered Arabic peoples. Turkey is, of course, the remnants of the Ottoman Empire that occupied much of the entire region far beyond Turkey here. All right, so that is the end of the bazaar. And so I have learned a bit of Greek in the course of my travels to Greece. So hello in Greek is yasas, or you can say the less formal is yasu. And in response, you can also just say yasas or yasu. Thank you is efaristo, and in response, you can say parakalo. But parakalo does not translate exactly to you're welcome. It is kind of a word with multiple uses. It's also basically please and excuse me. You can kind of drop it into different phrases depending on the context. But excuse me, more specifically, is signomi. That's literally excuse me in Greek. And this is the castle here and the ferry port. I came by boat 2 days ago and landed here. 15 euros for the boat ride. Coming from Kos Town on Kos Island. Here you get a little idea of the history with, let's see, the fisherman of Halicarnassus. He was a 20th century Turkish author who wrote about Bodrum, the sea and seamanship. Okay, so not old. But a very cool bust there. Bodrum Museum of Underwater Archaeology. And then here we have a much older bust. Herodotus, okay, 484 to 425 BC, but the bust is more recent. Turkish sculptor, it looks like. He is known as the father of history, Herodotus. Wow. And he was from Bodrum, ancient Halicarnassus. So there you go, a Greek who lived here in Bodrum. And so my Greek language lesson does kind of make sense. All right, so let's see how I get inside here. And so cheers in Greek is yamas. And bon appetit, or enjoy your meal, is kalliorexi. So kali is good, and orexi is appetite. Also, you can say kala and kalo are both also good. Kali, kala, kalo. All right, so during the period of the Caria region, under Persian control, it was ruled by the Persian king in 377 BC, at the beginning of the 4th century BCE. The satrap Hekatomnos was succeeded by his son Mausoleum. So this is representing a ruler from the 4th century BC. And so the entrance ticket here was 48 Turkish lira, that is $8 US. The name of the castle is the Castle of St. Peter, and it is not a Muslim construction. It was built by the Knights of St. John. Really interesting history here. The Knights of St. John were a Catholic military unit that were originally located in Jerusalem, and then they moved to the Greek island of Rhodes, which is nearby here. And so the construction of this castle began in 1402 AD and was completed at the end of the 15th century. And then the Ottomans conquered this area and took over the castle in 1523. And they then added a minaret, and I guess that's it right there. Yep. So there is a cross on top. And so it looks like this was a church that they added a minaret to. The Mosque of the Castle. It was built by Knights of St. John, possibly on an older structure in the 15th century, and was then reconstructed as a chapel in the Gothic style by the Spanish Knights in the early 16th century. During the reign of Suleiman the Magnificent, a minaret, so that would have been the Ottomans, a minaret was added to the Turkish Islamic tradition and converted into a mosque. Looks like this was a sphinx. You can see the mane of the lion and the tail. I guess these would have been Roman or maybe Greek. That is a Greek symbol right there. There's an A, which is also a Greek symbol, but that one, not sure what that one is called. It is just a triangle. So I guess these are remnants of the ancient Halicarnassus. Let's see, yep, also Greek. There's Greek writing. And again Greek. And it looks like right there, that is the Amphitheater of Halicarnassus. So I'm going to walk around the harbor here and go check it out. So I took a break for a little bit through the afternoon there and am now walking over to the amphitheater. Looks like rush hour traffic here, and it is a bit of a walk. It's crazy how much traffic is on this little one-way street. But check it out. Got a sign over here. Antique Teatro, ancient theater. And some ruins. Looks like maybe it got messed up in a storm or who knows what. Earthquake or, and a minaret. Filled with water. It rained a lot this morning, so that might be why. Not sure what this is otherwise. All right, where is that ancient theater? We got more signs, so ancient theater, mausoleum is the other way. There's the castle. And I think that must be the theater. Hello.
Madame. Bir tane daha sor.
Oh, five minutes? 2 minutes? Okay. All right. It's just closing, so at least I can show the theater here. Construction started in the 4th century BC by the Greeks, and then it was finished by the Romans, so it is Greco-Roman, and it can seat 13,000 people. And it is still used for performances. So just absolutely mind-blowing history here. 2,500 years of this thing being, well, here. It wasn't used live all the time. It was covered up, abandoned, and then discovered and restored. So, all right, at least I got a minute to check it out. And so I guess there are nicer beaches nearby, maybe like out there, a little ways away. So is Bodrum worth visiting? You can decide for yourself, but it just depends on what you're looking for. This is definitely a unique spot that captures a little bit of kind of everything. The beaches, the shops, the restaurants, the history of Turkey and other civilizations. There are certainly more spectacular places to see in Turkey, absolutely. Cappadocia, where I'm going next, is just like a whole different level of amazing. But if you were passing through here, if you were coming from Greece and in coast, it makes sense to stop by here. If you were driving through the area, it's definitely worth a stop and spending a couple of days here to check things out. All right, stay tuned. Lots more coming from Turkey. See ya. And so there's that minaret that I passed before, and it turned out the mausoleum was right in the way. I just walked right past it, and it is open until 6:30. I thought that the amphitheater there was open until 6:30, but it was closed at 5:30. That is why I just barely made it there. But this was still open, and it is only 14 Turkish lira. That is just $2. And so this was a mausoleum, but it was not just any old mausoleum. It was the original mausoleum, a mausoleum to Mausolus, a king in this region in the 4th century BC. And the mausoleum was built for him after he died. And then it was destroyed in earthquakes, several different earthquakes. But it was apparently a very magnificent structure at the time.